What's up, Steelers Nation? We're back with another exclusive, and believe me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Our Pittsburgh Steelers have made it crystal clear this offseason. They're not here to rebuild, they're here to win now. From signing Aaron Rodgers, to locking down TJ Watt with a massive extension, to trading for DK Metcalf and Yolan Ramsey. The front office is pushing all the chips to the center of the table. If you're loving the Steelers' aggressive approach, and believe 2025 could finally be our year, hit that like button right now and subscribe for non-stop updates, insider scoops, and bold takes. Let's get into it. So let's start with the latest rumblings from inside the organization. Many fans have been asking, are the Steelers done building this offense around Aaron Rodgers? Apparently, not quite. Steelers insider Mark Kaboly recently revealed some behind-the-scenes info. That clears up a lot of the speculation surrounding free agent wide receiver Gabe Davis. Kaboly didn't hold back, stating, "I think we can pretty much say that Gabe Davis is out. I mean, if they wanted him, they would have signed him already. Boom, case closed." That's big because Davis was spotted visiting the team earlier this offseason. At 6'2" inches, 225 pounds. Davis could have offered some needed depth behind DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin III. And let's not forget, Davis was a legit red zone threat in Buffalo. His numbers dipped in Jacksonville, sure, but the talent is still there. Davis left Pittsburgh without a deal, and Kaboly's words suggest Omar Khan has turned the page. So where does that leave the Steelers? Right now, Metcalf and Austin are locked in as the top two options. But is that enough? Austin III is entering a contract year, and all signs point to him being motivated to make a splash. But behind him, the picture gets fuzzy. Pittsburgh may still browse the free agent market, especially if injuries pop up in training camp. But there's growing belief that the Steelers might just roll with what they've got. One name to watch. Newly acquired, Jonnu Smith. Don't sleep on him. Smith was a beast in 2024, racking up 884 yards on 88 catches. With his versatility, tight end, slot H-back, he could become Aaron Rodgers' go-to target in key moments. And remember, he came over in that blockbuster trade that sent Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins. Bottom line, Pittsburgh's WR room isn't perfect, but between Metcalf, Austin Smith, and a handful of young prospects looking to make their mark, the coaching staff is hoping someone emerges as a reliable third option. Let's shift focus to the centerpiece of this entire puzzle, Aaron Rodgers. At 41 years old, Rodgers enters his 21st NFL season with something to prove, not just to the league, but maybe even to himself. He's coming off a devastating Achilles tear in 2023, suffered on his very first drive as a Jet. He's had a full year to recover, and if the off-season footage is any indication, he looks sharp, mobile, and locked. And Rodgers steps into Arthur Smith's offense, and with weapons like Metcalf and Austin, he has the tools to bounce back in a big way. But here's the question that looms over the entire Steelers season. Did the front office do enough to support him? There's reason for optimism, but there's also risk. The offensive line still has questions. Depth at WR is thin. Rodgers has to stay healthy, or else this win-now plan unravels quickly. Now let's get to the other huge development of the week. TJ Watt's extension is officially done. Just before players reported to camp, the Steelers finalized a 3-year, $123 million deal with $108 million guaranteed. Negotiations weren't exactly smooth. According to Adam Schefter, Watt wanted for years. The team wanted too. They compromised at $3.Y. The hesitation, Pittsburgh was reportedly reluctant to guarantee too much money past the first year, especially with Watt entering his 30s and having a physical play style. But in the end, they knew one thing: you don't let a guy like TJ Watt walk. Not after watching Myles Garrett get a massive deal in Cleveland. Not when Watt has been the heart of this defense for years, and certainly not when you're trying to make one last run with Rodgers under center. To cap it off, we even got insight from J.J. Watt, who appeared on the Pat McAfee show and talked about his younger brother's mentality heading into 2025. He's in a great spot. He's been training his expletive off. He's really excited about camp. He's looking forward to being back with the boys. It's going to be great. That's what you want to hear. TJ Watt, fully healthy, fully paid, and fully motivated. That's bad news for offensive lines across the AFC, especially when he's playing across from Alex Highsmith and behind Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton. Here's the bottom line. Steelers fans, the Gabe Davis chapter is closed. Aaron Rodgers is gearing up for one. Last shot at glory, TJ Watt is locked in and ready to terrorize quarterbacks. The questions still remain. The wide receiver depth is thin. The offensive line is unproven. And Rodgers, as great as he's been, is 41 and coming off a major injury. This season is a gamble, and it all begins with training camp this week. Will Metcalf and Austin be enough? Will Jonnu Smith become that third target? Can the defense carry its weight one more time? Let's set the stage real quick. This 2025 season is already shaping up to be one of the most fascinating in franchise history. The front office didn't just tweak the roster, they flipped it on its head. George Pickens, gone. Najee Harris, let go in free agency. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, also out the door. And in comes the biggest shocker of them all, Aaron Rodgers. Set to be the starting quarterback in what many believe is the final season of his Hall of Fame career. Steelers fans are still getting used to seeing number 12. Yes, he's still wearing it in black and gold. But one thing's for sure, the buzz is undeniable. To support Rodgers, the team traded for superstar wide receiver DK Metcalf and elevated Jaylen Warren to RB1 status, a move fans have been calling for all last year. But despite all that, a recent prediction has many fans asking, are we being disrespected again? The CBS triplets ranking sparks controversies. Sports analyst Jared Dubin dropped his 2025 NFL offensive triplets rankings, a panel-based list that ranks every team's quarterback, top wide receiver, and top running back combo. Where did Pittsburgh land? 25th. That's right. Out of 32 teams, the trio of Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and Jaylen Warren was ranked just 25th. Now, you might be thinking, how is that possible? Rodgers is a 4-time MVP. DK Metcalf is one of the most feared deep threats in the game. And Warren was one of the most efficient backs in the NFL last season. Yet CBS ranks them near the bottom. To add even more heat, last year Rodgers ranked 9th on this very same list when he was still with the Jets. Alongside Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, the drop-off is stunning. Rodgers falls 16 spots, despite being surrounded by arguably better talent. Make it make sense. Even Dubin himself admitted the ranking made little sense last year, saying, "This is a hard fall for Rodgers, whose Jets amazingly checked in 9th in last year's rankings, about which I was very confused at the time." He went on to say, now he, Warren, and Metcalf only have the Steelers one spot higher than they were with Russell Wilson, Najee Harris, and George Pickens a year ago. That's the part that stings for a lot of fans, because if you watched the 2024 Steelers, you know that trio struggled to find chemistry. Wilson looked washed. Harris never found rhythm behind a struggling line. And Pickens, while electric, was inconsistent. Yet now that Pittsburgh brings in proven veterans like Rodgers and Metcalf and gives Jaylen Warren the full workload, the panel still thinks the offense won't improve. Come on, is Rodgers being undervalued? There's a growing feeling among fans and insiders that Aaron Rodgers is being unfairly written off. Yes, he's 41, and yes, he's coming off an Achilles injury from 2023, but let's not forget, his last full season in 2021 saw him win MVP while throwing 37 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. Rodgers looks motivated in camp. Multiple reporters have commented on his arm strength looking sharp and his leadership already being felt in the locker room. DK Metcalf has even praised Rodgers for his attention to detail and said it's the most intense offseason program he's ever been part of. And Jaylen Warren? He's been turning heads since minicamp. His cut speed, vision, and physicality are all being compared to a young Austin Eckler, but more explosive. So why the hate? Why the low ranking? Dubin's explanation, perhaps you're a big Caleb Johnson guy and think he breaks out and therefore the Steelers should be higher. But given the way Rodgers has played since his last MVP season in 2021, being in the bottom third of the league feels right for one of his trios. The CBS crew doesn't believe Rodgers can be Rodgers anymore. Steelers' passing attack is being slept on. here's what the national media isn't talking about. Pittsburgh's offense doesn't end with the big three. The tight end room might be one of the best in the league. Pat Freiermuth is healthy and expected to have a massive year in this revamped system. Jonnu Smith brings a veteran red zone presence, and Darnell Washington is a matchup nightmare who's expected to take a leap in year 2+. Let's not forget about slot weapon Caleb Johnson, who's been getting buzz as a breakout candidate, and speedster Calvin Austin III, who could play the Tyler Lockett role in this offense. Rodgers has weapons, legitimate ones. Yet, somehow, a panel of 12 voters thinks this group is worse than last year's mess. Steelers Nation has every right to feel disrespected. We want to hear from you in the comments. Should the Steelers have signed Gabe Davis? Do you trust Metcalf and Austin to be Rodgers' go-to weapons? Are you happy with the TJ Watt extension, or was it too much? Let us know what you think. And hey, if you're excited about the season ahead, if you believe the black and gold still has one more run in them, smash that LIKE button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single update. We've got training camp battles, preseason action, and a Week 1 showdown against the New York Jets coming up fast. So stick with us. And as always, here we go. Steelers, here we go.